Orchestra inviting you to join Johnny and his guests, record-setting pilot Terri Jones, opera star Julia Mingus Johnson, and Alexandra Paul. And now, ladies and gentlemen, here's Johnny.
Now, my first guest tonight has been with us before, but only briefly. Her husband was here one night, Arthur Jones, inventor of nautical machines, and a gentleman who's involved in many, many things. Last week, you may have read that she and Chuck Yeager, General Chuck Yeager of the Right Stuff, both set records in prop jet airplanes. His was from Burbank, California to New York City. Her trip was from Burbank to Jacksonville, Florida. Would you welcome Terri Jones? Come on. You're whistling at a jet pilot. You know, every time I see you, it stuns me. I don't know why. It sounds chauvinistic to say that a pretty young lady could not, of course, fly a jet plane, which is entirely wrong, because it's not based on strength or any manly skills, right?
I usually don't look like this when I fly.
Yeah, but...
Maybe I should.
Yeah. What did you wear on the flight now?
When I did the coast-to-coast flight, I wore a jumpsuit.
Yeah.
It was real all-American. It had stripes and flags and whatnot.
Yeah. Before we get into the flight and so forth and talk about it, let's talk about you a little bit. Now, you were with your husband, Arthur, here about, I guess, 6 months ago. I remember you left me a gift, and it was a rhinoceros horn.
Right.
Right?
How'd it work?
Well, you said at the time you...
I've been anxious to hear.
Some cultures believe that it has, and I'm not sure it is true, aphrodisiac qualities, right? Especially in the Orient. I don't know what you were supposed to do with it.
Supposed to grind it up.
Yeah?
Yeah. You're supposed to grind it up and drink it, or I don't know exactly what they do with it, but they kill rhinos in Africa all the time when they get their horn.
And that is a shame.
Very valuable.
That they should not do.
Yeah, well, we didn't kill the rhino. We have a lot of animals, and our mother rhino gave birth to a baby.
Right.
So while in the process, she rolled over and she knocked her horn off. So that was about a week before we were on your show, so we brought it to you.
They have two, don't they? Or some rhinoceroses have two. So there's some only have one. It's called the one-horned rhinoceros. No, it's true. Did I make that
great name for it?
You lead an interesting life. Now, where were you born?
Tampa, Florida.
Tampa, Florida.
Right.
And when you were about, I think, 15, you were modeling when you were quite young, 14 or 15.
Yeah, it all started, my mother was in beauty contests, and she started putting me in beauty contests, and then I met an agent and started modeling at age 11.
Right.
And then I had all kinds of ambitions, and then at 15 I started a modeling school.
At 15?
Yeah. I started modeling school just as on the side as summer course, just for summer money. And it ended up growing into 200 students, and that became a problem because high school, how are you going to run a business and travel and model and then go to high school at the same time?
How'd you handle that?
Well, I went to my principal. Fortunately, it was a lady principal, and she understood this, and I said, at 15, I said, I want a career. I have a business that I have to run, but I also need an education. How am I going to do this? So she suggested a tutor.
Right.
And I had a full-time tutor.
Okay. Now, you get out of high school, you've got the successful modeling business, and you, what, now are all of 18 when this is finished, or when you...
Yeah, I sold the business at 17 and went to work for Nautilus then.
Yeah. Now, that's when you met your husband,
right.
Arthur.
Yeah.
How'd that meeting come about?
I was reigning a title in a beauty contest, and he was doing a television show on that. That was my last contest. I was 17, and he took me on home on his jet, which is the airplane that I'm flying.
How many airplanes do you have at home, by the way?
We have 9.
When I say home, you live in Georgia.
No.
Excuse me.
No.
I'm wrong.
Ocala, Florida.
Ocala, Florida. I'm sorry. Why do you think Georgia?
No, we live in Ocala, Florida, and we have the airplanes right out in our backyard. We have a 7,500-foot runway right in our backyard. Mm-hmm. It's real strange.
It is.
I'll look out the front door and there's an airplane landing. I go, oh, my husband's home. And he's flying over the trees.
And you have a 707 there, is it?
You'll park the 707 there.
Yeah, this is fascinating. We're going to take a break. We'll be right back. Stay where you are. We have returned. We're talking with Terri Jones. You are, is it correct, the youngest lady ever to check out in a 707?
707.
Now, that's the four-engine jet.
It's big.
Yeah, and you had to go...
It's one of the hardest to fly.
Yeah, and you had to go to flight school, obviously.
Right, Pan American Airlines in Miami.
How many other women in that class?
Not many. It was really exciting because I went to this school. It's a flight academy, and it's where they train all the pilots for the airlines. So there they are with their gray hair and they're distinguished looking, and I come bouncing in with a ponytail and no makeup, and my flight bag's bigger than I am. And
how did they treat you during this training? Did they think it was a joke?
No, actually, when I first arrived at the to check in to the school, they looked at me and they said, well, the stewardess are down that way.
Oh, the male mind again.
I'm a pilot.
Get me some coffee.
Yeah. But after a while, I got to talking to them, and they found out the amount of experience that I had, airline transport pilot, and the kind of planes that I've been flying. And it was a mutual respect. They were very nice to me after a while.
Yeah, are you a good pilot? Obviously you're a good pilot.
Yeah, I'm pretty good. I have a knack for it, and I'm surprised when I first took up flying. I never had a fear of flying. Most people say, aren't you afraid of flying? And I've never been afraid of it. I've been developing my skills, and I have a natural eye-hand coordination. I don't know if you're born with that or what.
There is such a thing that they used to call in the old days flying by the seat of your pants. People who are in an airplane become part of the plane. They feel comfortable. Other people get in the seat and they feel like they're attached to it, and that's not the way you fly, right?
That's why it's so enjoyable, because you can go up and you can't think about your problems or anything else.
Right.
Because your feel, your sight, your mind, your hands, you hear, everything's working. All of your senses are working.
Now, you flew from Burbank to Jacksonville, Florida in that new Piper Cheyenne
400 LS. It's very fast. It's the fastest prop jet that they make today.
What was your
it's
average,
really exciting to fly.
What was your average speed?
Oh, we didn't have that strong of winds. Our average speed was about maybe 450 knots.
Yeah.
Which is close to 500 miles per hour.
Any problems?
A little bit. When we took off, we had, right after we leveled off, we had a emergency bleed air light come on, which means that you're bleeding the air a little bit too much, and we had to turn off our heater, and I froze, and I've just gotten over being sick from that. And then our cabin altitude started climbing up through 10,000 feet, and your ears get a little uncomfortable after that. And then we landed, and our emergency exit door fell in because it had never been shut.
Outside of that, just a normal flight, huh?
It makes it exciting.
Yes, it does. Nothing like the emergency door falling open. Now, I hope you don't mind if I just touch on your personal life, because I find it fascinating.
It's different.
Yes, it is. Your husband is met at Nautilus. He's involved with doctors and research into health problems and exercise and so forth. You've got all of these planes. You have a lifestyle that is completely different, and yet there's quite a difference in your age. You met Arthur when you were about, I guess, 17 or 18?
17. We got married when I was 18.
And he is a little older.
A few years older.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Does that pose any problems?
No, actually, I like older men a little bit.
Why is that?
Well,
give me a break.
I love learning. I'm the type of person, I just have to learn all the time. And I find that around someone like yourself, they've done so much, and then I can learn from their experiences. Mm-hmm. And then
classes will start right after. No, that's a nice. Do you mean the experience?
Right. Well, they've done. I've ever since I've been very young, and that's why I was fascinated with Arthur Jones. He's done so much, and I can learn from him. And I find when I get around someone my own age, after a few minutes, I can outgrow them fast. So I have to have somebody that's up on a very high level.
Well, that's a good analogy. Now, Arthur has been married before. And no secret, I think Arthur's been married 4 times?
5. I'm number 5.
You're number 5. Does that pose any insecurity in your mind? Yes, he's got experience, yeah.
So by the time he gets to me, he's worked out all the problems along the way, and, and now I get
that's the way you do it.
Good.
Well, it sounds like you have a nice relationship.
Yeah, we get along. We're doing very well. He taught me to fly. He started me with the flying. And without him, I would never have started. Most people say, how do you get started in the flying? And I say, he came up to me and he said, well, you should fly. I have this jet where we live in airplanes.
And you learn to do it.
Yeah, and normally my first reaction is, I can't do it. And most people say, I can't. And he said, of course you can do anything.
Do you like astronomy? I'm into astronomy.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
It's here.
The sky, telescopes.
What's going to happen?
I'm just teasing. What do you want to do now? If you've set this record, you're going to try another one?
Yeah, well, I've been planning for the last year to set around the world, or actually break the around the world speed record.
Right.
Which is held right now by a woman, and it's 45 and a half hours around the world. So we'll be taking off from our farm, circumnavigate the globe, and land back at our farm, and hope to do it in less than 45 and a half hours.
That's great.
And then I want to go on and fly the Concorde.
You want to fly the Concorde? Will they let you do that?
Mm-hmm.
You
Just go to
lead,
London and train in the simulator.
you lead a very exciting life.
Well, I have a lot of opportunities.
Yeah.
I'm very lucky to have the opportunity to do that. How many people can, and I would really be foolish not to take advantage of it.
Absolutely. Well, thanks for being with us. I wish you good luck.
Thank
You're
you.
a lovely young lady. Give my best to
We
you.
didn't hear what happened with the rhino horn.
Oh, the rhino horn.
Didn't work?
No. Well,
He's leaving us
why don't we
hanging
go
here.
check it? Yes, go check it. Thank you anyway.
Thank you.
We'll be back. Julie McGinnis Johnson, Alexander Paul.